We don't eat fast food on road trips, so this is what I make instead. I'm Sarah and I'm getting ready to travel with my 5 kids by myself, so having real food ready ahead of time makes a huge difference. I'm using fresh milled flour for sourdough English muffins, turning apples into homemade cider, and putting together easy freezer meals like breakfast sandwiches and chicken taquitos to take with us. I'll also share a few simple, natural essentials I always pack. This is how I prep real food for the road. We are a week out from leaving for our road trip, and I have so much to do. It's ridiculous, especially when we are a ingredient household and we're going on a 2-week road trip with 6 of us. We have a lot to make this week, starting with some English muffins. Sorry, I'm not very awake yet. And I need to get that going for breakfast sandwiches for myself and my husband, who is staying behind, and I don't know, snacks. So I have a lot of things to make today. Actually, my goal is to make one thing each day this week and freeze it so that we can put it in our ice chest. We'll plan on bringing 2 ice chests, and that way it can thaw along the way and no biggie about it, right? So yeah, it's daunting before we leave, and I'm sure it's going to be even more daunting when I'm out there. Thankfully, there's grocery stores I can stop at if we need to. I'm not stopping at fast food, I'm not stopping at restaurants. That's just insane in this economy. We already probably really shouldn't be doing this road trip to begin with, but with the way the world is going, I want something fun with my children before things just become so expensive. There's absolutely no way to leave our home. So that may seem doom and gloom, but that's why we're trying to do something fun. So I need to get going. One of the things that I seem to really be focusing on for this road trip is breakfast essentials, because I am just not a morning person, as you just saw. So yesterday I went ahead and got this sourdough English muffin recipe going, and of course tweaked it for the fresh milled flour. And I am planning on using this for breakfast sandwiches. My husband is a little peculiar in that he will not eat eggs unless they are in a breakfast sandwich. So I do plan on leaving about half of these here for him to have for breakfast in the morning so that he doesn't starve. One of the nice things about me being home and him working from home is that when I am making meals, I am able to give them to him throughout his workday. And so when I'm not going to be here, it's going to be a little different for him. He's going to go back to his bachelor days, I guess. So I'm just trying to prepare for both scenarios, with him being back at the house and us on the road. And what better way than having breakfast sandwiches? So it lessens the need to stop at fast food restaurants. These are easily warmed up in the microwave at the hotels or friends' houses that we will be staying at. I am going to be making 2 different types of breakfast sandwiches. This, of course, is the English muffin. And then later on in this video, I will be showing you a fresh milled flour sheet pan pancake. That is a very long thing to call it, but it is absolutely delicious. My husband thoroughly enjoyed it, so I am making 2 different batches. I have made English muffins several times, but for some reason, this particular batch was super sticky. I probably needed a little bit more flour in it, but with using fresh milled, I really didn't want to go overboard. They came out fine. I just wasn't able to shape them as well. As you'll notice, they're a little wonky, but they still taste absolutely delicious. And I did put cornmeal on the outside to help with the texture. In a recent video for my Azure haul, I showed you a 40-pound box of apples, and we are not even halfway done with that box of apples yet, and I am leaving for several weeks. So instead of letting them sit at home and rot or attempting to bring a 30-ish pound box of apples with us on the road, I am going to attempt to make apple cider for the first time in my Nourishing Traditions cookbook that I will definitely link below. If you do not have this, you need this book. Absolutely, you need this book. So I decided to do this apple cider because I have done many other things, including apple jelly, apple sauce, apple pie filling, and I just wanted a little bit of variety again and was looking through my cookbook and saw this and thought, why not? This recipe is definitely a process, so I am doing this a couple days ahead of time. It does take 3 days to ferment on the counter, and then several weeks in the fridge before you really want to start drinking it. It says that the longer it's in the fridge, the more buttery tasting it should become. And this is what is left of my apples that I left for snacking and to take on the road with my children. So we did not actually end up using all of it.
Okay.
As you can see, I had not used this juicer in quite some time, so I was very happy that my husband did not listen to me and throw it away so that I could use it on this day. And it worked phenomenally, honestly. And I am definitely planning on making better use of this kitchen tool. As you can see, I really wish that I still had chickens because they would have had a feast with this. But alas, my compost is happy with it at this moment.
Yeah, but look what I got.
Oh, I guess.
So again, my SD card has eaten up footage and I totally filmed a quick Walmart haul that I wanted to share with you guys because I have never done a Walmart delivery before and I was ordering things that I don't normally order, like the pizzas and the Hot Pockets that you saw, which are for my husband so he can enjoy the treats that he really misses me buying for him. For obvious reasons, I don't like to buy that stuff. And so while I am gone, he gets to have those as a treat since he's missing out on our family fun. And so what I am doing here is I am pre-cooking a whole bunch of chicken breasts, and I plan on shredding this and using it in several different meals, but mainly what I'm going to be showing you later on in this video is making a big freezer meal batch of chicken taquitos. And I do plan on making some chicken salad later on down the road with it as well. I am just running out of steam and running out of time, honestly, to keep prepping as much. And I don't know what I was honestly thinking because obviously there's grocery stores and things along the way, and I'm prepping like I'm going camping and I'm not going to have those options. But, I'd rather be more prepared than not even close. So here I am over preparing. I went ahead and milled this spelt flour the night before because I had planned on making some sheet pan pancakes to turn into breakfast sandwiches, and I really thought that I was going to have more time, but for some reason my oven on this day took an hour and a half to cook these two sheet pans of bacon. Yes, they're a little thicker than normal, but oh my word. So by the time I was actually able to put the sheet pan pancakes in there, I was already having to supplement my children's breakfast. So I really didn't need to mill it in the morning. But if you want to dive into fresh milled flour, please know that you can actually mill it the night before so that it is not waking up your household in the morning if that is one of your concerns. This recipe really is pretty straightforward. It's just a like six-tuplet of a normal pancake that you are putting onto a sheet pan and cooking in the oven rather than on the stovetop. And this was my first time using fresh milled flour for it, so I had anticipated needing a lot more flour because typically you're using about 1.25 cups of fresh milled flour for every cup of all purpose. However, for this recipe, I did end up needing to add more milk into it because I had just put all of the flour in there as needing that, which so I had put 7.5 cups of flour in it total. And I do let my flour rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, if not longer, so that it can soak up the liquid. And on this day, I think it sat for a good 30 plus minutes because the bacon wasn't getting out of the oven fast enough for me to get this in there. But just know that you really want normal pancake batter texture for this, nothing special if you're using fresh milled flour. And if you are using all purpose, just use 6 cups instead of the 7.5 that I originally tried. If you have noticed the price of butter and cooking oils, good cooking oils, not canola oil or vegetable oil, but please make sure that you are saving your bacon grease so that you can save money on your grocery budget. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing to cook with. It does have a low smoke point, so keep that in mind. However, it is absolutely delicious. I mean, who really, truly doesn't like the taste of bacon? Please tell me. And I am reusing that bacon parchment paper to have that added bacon flavor and to not have to reuse or use up more oil or more parchment paper. And it came out absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend doing it this way. It saves on your time and your budget. These came out absolutely perfect in my opinion and tasted again phenomenally. That added nuttiness of the spelt fresh ground flour, you just can't get that from an all-purpose flour, and you're getting the added nutrition along with it. You can't beat it. So if you haven't jumped into that yet, I highly recommend you do as soon as you are financially able to. I do have an affiliate link with a $20 discount code down in the description box below for Nutrimill and Bosch mixers and some of their accessories. Part of my Walmart order was this ginormous, actually two ginormous boxes of eggs and some half and half. I knew that I would be making sheet pan eggs, and I just did not have enough of my friend's farm fresh eggs nor the budget to get that many eggs, unfortunately. So I am trying these out. I have never actually bought groceries from Walmart. So this has been an experience for me, and the eggs really aren't that bad. But the recipe did call for 12 for a sheet pan, and I really think that it should have been 16. I did do another round for the English muffins, and I added 16 eggs instead of the 12, and I felt that that was a much better ratio for me. So, as I will show you shortly, they were kind of thin and they really didn't spread out as much. So that's why I ended up adding those extra 4 eggs for the English muffin sandwich. Now, when it comes to assembling your breakfast sandwiches, whether you are using English muffins or the pancake like I am on this one, you have so many options for your toppings or however you want to put it, your fillers. On this one, I'm using some of the bacon that I had cooked. And then I'm using Colby Jack cheese. I'm just using cheese slices on this day. You can use shredded or whatever else you have on hand. And I will be putting it back into the oven just so it melts a little bit. The oven's not even on anymore. So some of the things that you also need for road tripping and prepping, sounds funny, especially if you're like crunchy, natural living minded like myself. I don't just go to the store and buy these items because I know how bad they are. And I also have a lot of ingredients for natural remedies as well, which if you've seen one of my last videos, you've seen how much of an addict I am to herbs and DIY ingredients and such. So let me show you some things that I make sure that I have on hand, especially this time of year in spring and summer. And I will also put the recipes for these in the comments below or description box below. But first is sunscreen. This is what I have been making for several years now. I used to sell it on my shop, but life has gotten away from me. So I do have a post on this on my website, along with many other things to make sunscreen. This works so well. Doesn't matter your pigmentation. It rubs in really nice with non-nano zinc oxide. And so I use that. And then I showed this on one of my road trip videos recently, but bug repellent, whether it's this one that I like in the lotion cream form, or unless you want the spray one, I have both of these recipes and I will put them below. But these are absolute must-haves for this time of year, especially going back to the Midwest where we're going on all the ticks and everything. Absolutely needed. I do also have videos for both of these on how to make them if you're someone like me. If you're much more of a visual learner, I will link those below. But especially this time of year, bug repellent at minimum. At minimum. So if you can't tell, I am doing all of this in one morning, essentially, with the cooking of the breakfast foods and the assembling of the breakfast foods. So it really does not take you that much time. And then you have a freezer stocked full of ready breakfast meals. And knowing that I have that in there, even if we don't take it all with us or my husband doesn't eat all of it that we've left behind for him, it is a huge time saver for me. Miss, I hate the mornings and touching food first thing for my children. Knowing that I could do this process again and with different types of breakfast foods is totally on my radar now. And I really plan on doing more big batch freezer meals just like this. So if you have any favorites or go-tos, please leave them in the comments for me so that I can check those out as well. Because other things like waffles and pancakes, my children don't usually like them the next day if they've been frozen. There's something they just don't care for about that freezer texture. And these English muffin breakfast sandwiches, I really could have done much, much smaller cuttings of them. As you'll see, I am kind of trying my best to shape them, but I really missed the mark on this. As you'll see, they are absolutely ginormous centers, but that's okay. I'd rather them be more than not enough, but I probably could have gotten twice the amount of breakfast sandwiches out of this. I did end up putting some plain English muffins back into the freezer for things like toasted English muffins in the morning instead. But again, these are absolutely delicious as well. And I do like the thickness of this egg a little bit more than that first one. I did also make more of the breakfast cookies that I have shared with you in a recent video, so I didn't really want to go through that process with you. However, with this batch, I did also add some coconut flakes, as you can see there maybe, but they're just absolutely delicious. I love this recipe, so go ahead and check out that video. I will leave it in the description box below for you. It has now been 3 days, and I can tell you this morning I was walking around going, "What is that nasty smell?" And it was this. That was not a pleasant smell, but it seems to be fine since I took that top off. It did say that in the description of the recipe to take it off. So thankfully, everything else seems fine. I was straining this for some reason. I thought that that would be a good idea, but about halfway through this, I noticed that I probably shouldn't be. So the apple cider does still have a lot of the pieces with it, I guess you could say. But like I mentioned earlier, this does has to refrigerate still for several more weeks. So I figured we will try it when we get back from our road trip and see how we like this and if it was actually worth my time or not. Because I could have made the other things, like I had said, the tried and true recipes, but we do like apple cider, and I am hoping to turn these into like protein gummies using the beef gelatin that I have that my kids have been asking for. So that is on my radar as well with this. So it has been several days since I have done the crock pot chicken that I showed you in the beginning of this video, and this has just been sitting in the fridge in our garage until I was ready to get to it. And on this day, I am deciding to use some cream cheese and salsa verde. And I did completely intend on also shredding up some Monterey Jack cheese and adding it to the mix. But when I was filling the tortillas is when I remembered that ingredient. So if that is something that you would like to do, definitely add that in. This was absolutely delicious. It made so much for us and our family that we actually ended up having it for dinner as well on this day. I also decided to use my hand mixer that I had bought and rarely ever use. I generally use my Bosch mixer, but I just wanted to try it out this way on this day. The Bosch mixer definitely could have done the job probably a lot faster, and it is a big bowl, bigger than my KitchenAids were, so that was definitely a possibility. But this worked out just fine. You also could have just done this by hand. It just would have taken a little bit longer, shredding the chicken and mixing it all together. So I am rolling these up and putting them on a parchment lined cookie sheet, and I am going to be cooking them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes until they brown and bubble and are warm on the inside and toasty. And like I said, they came out absolutely delicious. So a lot of these will be going into the freezer. Some will go on the trip with us, and some will again stay home with my husband. If you want to see how this all comes together on the road, make sure you're following along. I'll be sharing our road trip over the next couple weeks, what we actually eat, how I keep things simple with 5 kids on my own, and how we continue our natural lifestyle while we're traveling. I will be doing homeschool with the children as we are going. So make sure to check out the videos in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video, friends. Bye.